Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jennifer C. at HomeLifeCultureLink.com, Nino Simeka at MortgageGodfather.ca, and Jewelry Forever at JewelryForever.ca. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regina Lena, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
What a beautiful morning.
Look at this fluffy, gorgeous, foamy latte, ladies and gentlemen. Truly, none has ever beheld such beauty. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 149 of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. Scott Dion Brown. Hello, who we got? Ice. Hello. Ice says, so how smart can someone be if they put all their effort into being smart? You can increase your intelligence by studying and stuff, but also some people are born smart and others aren't. I don't know. Can you try it? I don't know. Hey Zeus, hello, good morning. How are you? Hello, welcome to the show. And Max is here too. Hello Max, good morning. Well, I am your host, everybody, Scott Dion Brown, and I'm joined, as always, by the greatest co-host in all of the galaxy, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only,
Regina Lena. Happy Sunday, everyone. You missed a few other people. I saw Cheyenne pop up as well. But hey, Scott, how's it going?
Hello. I'm quite well, Regina.
That was so formal. Hello.
Hello. Hello, fellow co-host. How are you doing?
Hello.
So, how was your week, Regine?
It's been good. I feel like I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, Scott.
That's true. I know. It's been it's been 2 weeks, hasn't it? We didn't have a show, right? We didn't. We're here last week.
No, I was shocked. So I originally had a day off, and then I look on YouTube, and Scott apparently had a day off too.
Sometimes you just need a day off, Regine. Sometimes. In the end, Regine wasn't available last week, and then
You had FOMO and decided to take the day off too?
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. No, you know what it was is that I had to decide whether or not I wanted to try doing a show with just me and like no guests, where I would just sit and talk for like an hour by myself. And people do that. Like there are podcasts that do that. They exist, you know. But I figured if I was going to do that, I would want to prepare a little bit more. Like I want to make sure. I mean, maybe I could just sit there and rattle off by myself and just see what I say. I don't know. That could be an interesting experiment, I guess. But it would be something that I need to, I don't know, work towards a little bit. I don't know. It just didn't feel right, Regine.
That's fair. I mean, I was surprised. I was like, oh my God, this is the first time that we actually don't have a show.
Almost. I mean, not the first.
Well, I mean, it
time.
wasn't planned.
That's true.
We
But you know what?
needed a day off. That's all.
Exactly. Sometimes you just gotta rest and recuperate. Hey, good morning, Mike Brown. My dad is here. Good morning. I'll have a great show. Thanks, Dad. Glax, early DIY gamer. Morning, friends. Hello, Glax. Welcome back. How are you? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. We're here, and it's 1:49. And I think
Did you say
we should,
149? Oh, episode
149.
149. I was like, what?
Yeah. I think we should bring in our guests. What do you think?
Yes. Oh, look, we have more comments coming through.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, Maria Brown. My mom is here. Good morning, Scott and Regine. Love from Lola, Uncle Tony, and Mom. Oh, hello.
It's a full house. Hello.
It's a full house. Good morning, guys. Okay, let's meet our guest today. Our guest today is a very, very talented filmmaker, YouTuber, a LinkedIn Learning instructor as well.
Oh.
Yeah, and I met her at the Gen Con Film Festival, which happened just recently, which was an amazing time. Gen Con, the film festival this year, went hybrid version because of the pandemic. So the last time I was there was in person, and you attend at the actually Gen Con event, but I wasn't unable to attend because of border restrictions. And there are lots of people who were unable to attend because of COVID and other things. So I was able to participate in some online panels, which was really fun. And they had an online element of the whole festival and everything. And I met our guest today in those panels.
Nice.
And I thought, and as we were all chatting in the panels, I was like, this person would be good on the sit down. I want to have this person. So now it's happening, people. And of course, I was a guest on her show earlier this week. So that's fun as well. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Ash Blodgett. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I had no idea that you couldn't attend because of border restrictions. That's crazy.
Yeah, I had fully planned to go. In fact, I had booked my Airbnb. I had booked. Well, I guess that's all you do. You have to book the Airbnb. But I planned to go. Like I, set the time aside, everything you have to do, and so right now the border from Canada into the U.S. If you're flying, anybody can go, but you just have to get a
PCR.
Negative test, I think, right, and all that stuff. But it was never actually closed. Anybody could, or what? Did they close it for a while, or did it ever close? I can't remember.
They said that it was closed to prevent people from traveling, but technically you could still fly.
You could go. So anyway, but what they had closed was land crossings, so you couldn't drive there. And,
so the people who couldn't afford to fly, those people aren't allowed in.
Exactly. Yeah,
well, okay, so there is a loophole I have heard and seen on like TikTok. Canadians walking across the border and then just grabbing an Uber or whatever and then going that way.
Oh, wow.
Really?
If there's a will, there is a way. Yeah.
Wait, they allow people to cross just walking?
You
it?
walk across the border. I told you
Oh.
to do that, but you're like, "Eh."
No, you told me to.
I said, why don't you walk across the border? I don't think you took me serious.
Well, how would I get?
You
Yeah.
can ask your dad to drive you to the border.
Well, my
Get
dad was
off,
gonna come.
He's
walk.
watching now, Scott. So you can ask him right now.
It's too late now.
I mean, anyways, so aside of walking across the border, but so what initially when they had it closed, they had it set that it was going to reopen August 21st. That was kind of the date that it was going to
Ugh.
expire, the closure.
Right.
And then on August 20th, they extended it to at least September 21st. So that put it straight over top of Gen Con. So
Oh, bummer.
And now it's still closed.
I think it's still closed, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, we'll see
Mm.
what's going to happen. But anyway, so it was unfortunate, but I am glad that we were able to participate in Gen Con over the internet.
Yeah. 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 I was also going to go and I was like looking at hotels and I was going to book a flight. And then I was going to go with my producer, Rose. And at the time, she hadn't announced it yet, but she's pregnant with her second child.
Oh,
And
congrats.
yeah. And we were kind of like, this whole Delta thing, we're like, maybe we won't
Yeah.
go just in case you're pregnant. I'm kind of not sure about the Delta thing. So that's why we didn't go. But I was really bummed because I've never been to Gen Con in person, but I really, really want to go.
It's I mean, I assume it's same how it was this year, but I when I went before for my last film, it's awesome. Like it's a really, really, really cool experience. The cosplays everywhere. So just walking around, there's always something to see. They got beer. There's a nice big beer garden out there.
Ooh,
It's
so
fun. And then even all of that stuff aside, if you're just into gaming, then it's a whole other level of fun, obviously.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I applied back in my film, my zombie film got into Dragon Con back in 2019, and that's
Yeah.
where everybody was like, oh, if you love Dragon Con, you should apply to Gen Con.
Mhm.
And so I did, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Gen Con next year. And then 2020 happened, and so
yeah.
And then 2020 happened.
Were you able
Yeah.
to? Did you attend Dragon Con?
I did in 2019. It was so much fun. I loved it. It was great. Just an absolute blast. And the filmmakers, both at Gen Con and Dragon Con, the filmmakers I met through both of those, I have kept in touch with,
Mhm.
which is just really awesome.
Yeah, Dragon Con. I mean, Gen Con is, I think, it's not at the same scale, but yeah, Dragon Con was like, yeah, I went there for same thing for my last film, and it was so. Dragon Con was like, I felt like walking along, you'll just see, oh look, there's a costume that could be in a film. Oh, there's another costume that could be, like the quality of the stuff that they build was so amazing.
Yeah.
It
And
was like-
I've never been, because I've been to Comic-Con. I'm in California, so I've been to Comic-Con like, plenty of times. But I've never been to a convention like Dragon Con where like it is 24/7. Like it'll be like 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. and there is something happening that you can go to.
Oh, wow.
And it blew me away. I was just like, how are you still going?
How are you still surviving? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's like the way I describe Dragon Con to people is I was like, it's like Vegas for nerds, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good description actually. And
Everyone's
it is nonstop.
walking around with like alcohol, just like, just full on, like, here's my bottle of whiskey and like in a dinosaur costume or whatever. It's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the other thing that's cool is it's happening in various buildings around there, but then also all of the local businesses and the bars, like it feels like the entire city buys into it. So it's
Yeah.
like you go into like a bar nearby and they've got like some Dragon Con themed thing, or like, so it really does feel like when you're there that you're in the middle of this giant event.
Well, that's how
Yeah.
they make money. It's tourism
Well,
at its
that's true,
finest.
Yeah. And all of the hotels are like connected with like skywalks. So like you don't even really have to go outside if you don't want to. It's crazy. It's
Yep.
it was nuts.
Where is it usually held?
Atlanta?
Atlanta,
Mm.
Georgia. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Pretty good times.
Downtown.
Yeah. So yeah, so you've been to Dragon Con, you've been to Gen Con. Well, actually, Gen Con virtually. So let's talk a
Yes.
little bit about why you were there for Gen Con this year. Your
Mhm.
film. Tell us about your film.
Yeah, so my film is called Joining Call, and it's a short film about a group of friends trying to get together to play D&D online during the quarantine, and all the things that happen, that get in their way of being able to like play D&D because of the normal quarantine things like internet connection problems or children or couples at each other's throats, just like all the stuff. Or there's one character that's just been like lives alone and has just been drinking nonstop.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we kind of basically my friend Patrick Edwards, he texted me this idea sort of as a joke. And then it just sort of spiraled into like, oh yeah, that's really funny, but what if this and what if that? And next thing we knew, we had this like short film that I think we just both really wanted to create artwork about the experience we were having, because it was this experience that we were all going through together, but we couldn't actually go through together because we couldn't be together. And so that was the inspiration for the film.
I really liked watching it. It was well,
thank
the
you.
thing that was interesting for me was it felt so like I was like experiencing a lot. It was recreating a lot of things that I have experienced, and I think most of us have experienced through the pandemic. Like anybody who's had to do a group Zoom call for any reason, right? Dealing with, oh, you're muted, oh, your mic's not on, or what? How do you?
Well,
you know
our
what I mean?
show is all virtual.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Even the growing pains of exactly, Regina. Just getting this show going, and it's kind of this weird new reality that we all suddenly all of us. Now, people who are already kind of in the filmmaking world were slightly ahead of everybody else, but everybody basically had to learn some level of like production that they didn't need to before,
Yeah,
to like
totally.
even have these basic reactions. And so I liked that your film, it really touches on all of those things. And actually, what I wanted to ask you about, because I believe you filmed it all over distance,
Remotely.
like everybody was in different locations, right?
Absolutely,
And so I wanted to ask about like the film talks about a lot of the technical issues and deals with a lot of the technical issues and problems that you have, people coming in and all this stuff. But I imagine you probably had to also deal with a lot of those things in actually producing this film.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say, like almost all of the things that happened in the film happened while we were shooting the film.
Was there a drunk cast member?
There wasn't a drunk cast member. That's why I
Okay.
said almost all of the things. But like basically like internet problems and like technical issues, and there was like Iffy's character. Iffy is a dad and has a child, and his daughter would wander through the back of the frame sometimes, but his character isn't the dad character, so it'd be like, oh, okay, hold for child, and yeah, all of those sort of things definitely happened and were challenges. We shot the whole thing 100% remotely, and so when we cast it, we knew that like basically the first requirement to be in the film was you had to have a good microphone. And so everybody, all of the cast members have experience. They're either podcasters or Twitch streamers or YouTubers that all have experience recording good audio. And then the next requirement was, you have to have some sort of a camera. But the camera was even like, it was less of a priority than the audio because you can get away with a shitty quality image for a Zoom call, because that makes it feel more real. So people were shooting on anything from iPhones all the way up to a C100. So it's kind of crazy, like the variety of footage that I got. But yeah, it was also funny too, because like, even though some people who had like a lot of video experience, like even then when I got their footage, I was like, oh no, like we have to reshoot some stuff. So there was a couple of like reshoots we did, but basically the actors had to completely record their own audio. They had to record their own video. They had to set dress. And for the most part, everyone had to do their own costume, except for Matt Young, who we sent him the costume because we very specifically wanted his character to like be wearing the costume.
Mhm.
And yeah, so we shot it over a real call. We didn't use Zoom, we actually used Discord. So all the actors and me were on Discord, and then I had to be like, okay, roll your cameras, because we weren't actually using their webcams.
Mhm.
They were all using their own cameras, so that way I had like I wanted to make sure I had enough latitude with the footage to like go full screen. So because the film cuts between like a 3-person view, a full screen of one person, and then like the whole layout are the different sort of layouts we have. And so yeah, so it was like, okay, everybody roll, and then like put your thumbs up that you're rolling, okay, and then everybody had to slate, and they'd have to like pick up. They all had like a piece of paper. We tried to send them little whiteboards. That was like Rose's idea. Rose was the producer on this film too, and they just didn't all make it in time, unfortunately, because back then, remember 2020, who knows how long it takes a package to get somewhere. So unfortunately they didn't make it everywhere. So some people were using just like a sheet of paper where they would write the take, because even though it feels like it's all one take, I actually cut it up into different like scenes like you would a film, and we shot it in different sections because, like you also mentioned, Scott, we had people all over. We had people in Pennsylvania, we had people in Chicago, we had people in Utah, people in California, people in Cincinnati. So I had to plan around the sun as well.
I was gonna say the time zones are all different.
Yeah, so we had to like shoot certain people out, because like Matt Young was in Chicago, and we're like, okay, well, Matt's gonna lose the sun first, and so we need to like plan around that and prioritize him first and all this stuff. So but the majority of it was shot over the course of, I'd say, 3 days, but the majority of it was all shot in one day.
Wow.
Trying to juggle everyone's schedule.
I would love to see what the bloopers look like versus the actual finished product, to see how it actually did go, like foreshadow the whole thing.
I have all, like, it's just mountains of footage because it's like so many things. And then I also, because I have a filmmaking YouTube channel and I wanted to like have a behind the scenes of this is how we did it, I did a whole series of how we did it. So as well as juggling everyone else shooting themselves, I was also shooting myself. So I had a 2-camera setup in my room filming the whole time, and I was like screen recording. So I've been meaning to do that, but it's like literally hours of footage that I don't know that I'll ever have the time to go through.
Yeah, it's the thing. If you editing like at any type of behind the scenes or any of that stuff, you're gonna have to literally go through everything and find the moments. So you have to watch it all.
Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to ask you about is all of the film. Everybody has like a very distinct looking avatar, and like there's these like these cartoon, really nice drawings and artwork. And I wanted to ask about that because that looked really, 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 really nice.
Yeah. So early on, I knew that, because I was kind of inspired by the like quarantine episodes of Mythic Quest, if you guys have seen that, and Parks and Rec also did one that I thought was really well done, and both of them had their own, interface that was the chat that they were having a chat in. And so early on, I knew, I was like, okay, because the Zoom movies were popular, and it was like really basic, like here's just a someone's image in a black void or whatever. And I knew, I was like, I want this to be visually interesting and not boring like that. And so I knew I wanted my own interface. And so I hired two different artists. So the first we hired this amazing artist, Michelle Kowalski. I'm so sorry, Michelle. I always butcher your name. Michelle Kowalski. And she's fantastic. And we hired her because we knew we wanted a poster for the film, and we couldn't get everyone together. And I didn't just want the Zoom movie poster of just everyone's like little cutouts. So we hired her to do these character designs of the characters. And we actually let everyone pick, like, okay, what are you, a fighter? Like, the actors got to pick what class they were, and if they wanted anything like fun, what do you want to be, an archer? Do you want to whatever? Do you want to be, of course, so many people were like, I want to be a wizard. And we're like, okay, well, everyone can't be wizards. Because funny enough, a lot of them have never played D&D. And anyway, but so she did this beautiful character design that we are going to just use for the poster. And then I hired another artist, a motion graphic artist, Nick Pasick, who I love working with. He's edited several of my films, and he usually does like motion graphic work for me. And he made this cool interface that had this background that's like moving, that's like this fantasy scape. And I was like, well, once I got the artwork back from Michelle, I was like, this is incredible. We need to utilize this more. And so I was like, let's have them be their little avatars. And what's really cool is she even like she made them look like the actors. So the avatars like look like the actors. And then she also made them like match the colors that they're wearing. Cause I was very distinctive on making sure that every character had their own color. So that way they're very distinct and unique. And so she even went the extra mile of making their costumes match the colors that they're wearing, which was really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, it looked great. It looked like they were, I guess for me, it looked like the idea that they were in some type of like, the chat is one that's like designed for like online D&D. Like it looked like that it was like something that they all like logged into, but it looked so, it just really tied the whole thing together in a way. And I was like, wow, that's the nicest looking Zoom call I've ever seen.
They don't all
That's
look
what
like
I was going for. Yeah, that's what I was going for. I was like, we all know what a Zoom call looks like. Can we make this different and interesting so that when you're watching it, you're not bored at any point?
Yeah. And the other thing I really liked is it starts very, as we're sort of getting to know the characters off the top, like it starts very, the whole thing is a comedy, but like when you see like the one character, I don't want to spoil anything. You guys should all watch it. The link is in the description, by the way. But
yeah, you can watch it. It's online.
Yeah, exactly. It's I put the link down below, and make sure you subscribe while you're there, everybody. But I like, so it starts at first quite lighthearted and like, comedy wise, but then as it goes a little bit deeper and we start to see sort of some of the very real, like why people are kind of behaving the way they are. And like, that's the moment for me where it becomes very, suddenly it was like, wow, this is so relatable. Like in that you almost feel, wow, these are the things that we're all going through right now. So I really liked that side of it. So when you were creating it, I guess as you were creating these characters and writing it, I guess you were drawing a lot from, I guess, real experiences or things, people you've talked to or stuff you've dealt with, or where did it all come from?
Yeah, I didn't write it. Patrick Edwards did. Edwards, who he's a co-host on my podcast, Let's Rewatch. And so he wrote it, and what's really cool is the way that he wrote it. So he definitely took inspiration from, we chatted back and forth about like the different types of people and the different things that people were going through, but he wrote it, instead of giving characters names or gender or sexual preference or race or anything like that, he just gave them numbers. So originally they were like 1 through 8. And the cool part about that was when it went for time for casting, we're like, this character can be anybody. And it really opened up casting for us, which was awesome. And it made it so that we weren't limited at all. We weren't like, this character is female or this character is a heterosexual couple. You know, like it allowed us to be like, well, who do I know that I think would be really good in this role, regardless of gender, race, ethnicity, whatever, you know,
That's
like
awesome.
sexual preference. Yeah, it was so cool. And so it really like, it allowed us to like be fluid with casting. And then it also allowed the actors to bring their own thing to the table, because there really was, all there was dialogue. And so, you know, like Brandon, for example, was like, hey, I really think my character, I think it'd be really cool to have him be a Texan, because you don't see that represented very often in D&D. But I have a friend in Texas who's a total country boy but loves D&D, you know. And so that we really wanted to break stereotypes in the gaming world, because especially Pat and I, you know, Pat has actually written D&D books, and Pat plays D&D on the regular. But if you saw Pat, he looks like, he'll laugh if I say this, but he looks like Vin Diesel. He's super jacked, you know, like super jacked dude who does not look like he plays D&D at all. And I don't look like I play D&D either. And so it was like, okay, well, let's break this stereotype, because the nerdy being in a basement is just not, that's not the reality. Yeah. And so that was really fun. And then like Tara, for example, was like, I see Zoe as she was like, this is my tagline for Zoe, White Claw and crystals. And I was like, great, go with it. Let's do it. And so it was really fun, because the actors got to bring their own spin to their characters, which I think was really cool. So it really left it open for us, for everyone to play and have options, which I thought was like I've never worked on a project like that before. And Pat and I, you know, are already talking about making other films, and we're like, okay, let's do that, you know, again, because when it comes time for casting, it's just great. You know, you're not going into casting with this image of what this character is already in your head, which can sometimes be really limiting as a filmmaker. You know, you might see the perfect person, but you're like, well, they don't look like the thing that I had in my head, so I'm not casting them, which I think happens a lot in the filmmaking world.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I like that. I like I really like the idea of allowing the actor to bring what they bring, because that's why you hire actors, right? It's why you can't just have anybody come in and then you just tell them. Well, in fact, you know what it is? It's why, generally speaking, you don't want to tell the actor how to say a line, because if you do that, you're missing out on the chance that the actor might have brought in a way or brought a perspective of it that you may not, as a director, not have thought of, or maybe the writer didn't think of. And so
totally. Yeah,
I like that.
And I love that. Like, that was something we were talking about in one of the Gen Con panels, where like, as a director, and specifically a director of comedy, I think it's insanity not to allow the actors to have room to play and do improv, because that's why you hired them, because you believe that they are good at what they do. So why not let them be good at what they do and bring something to the table?
Absolutely. I agree. Oh, hello. Max says, how's the show going? It's going very, very well. It's going very well, very well. Hello. Jellyfish is here as well. How are you, Jellyfish? Welcome to the show. We are here chatting with Ash Blodgett, filmmaker,
Hello.
YouTuber, and
and D&D player, from what we learned
D&D
today.
Right.
I am very much a noob, though. I won't I won't say that I'm an expert.
You're more of an expert than I am, because I've never played the game nor seen the game. So
I've
there
never
you
played
go.
either, actually, but it's something that I do want to try, because I feel like I would really like
super
it.
fun. Yeah, I say I'm a noob because I've only really done several like one-shots, and one-shots are like, you know, it's just, we're just sitting down, you're playing this character once in one sitting, and that's it. I've never done a campaign. But it's a lot of fun, especially if you're an actor. Like, I'm sure it's even more fun. Like, whenever I play D&D with actors, which we did, like, after Joining Call came out, we did a D&D session where the actors got to play D&D, and we all played D&D together, which was really fun. And it's just like, actors just, I think, are the best to play D&D with, because they just yes and. It's like, okay, we're going to do this. All right. And, versus sometimes when you play D&D with other people, they're like, well, I don't want to do that. And you're like, okay, but we need to progress the story.
Yeah.
And actors are all about that.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Yeah.
What's D&D? D&D is, it's Dungeons and Dragons. And in fact, I don't know, how would you, well, as someone who's played it, how would you describe D&D to somebody who has never played it and has no idea what it is?
It's basically like role playing. So it's like a bunch of adults fantasy role playing, pretending, basically. But the fun of it is you get to play a character. And it's not always fantasy. D&D specifically is. There's a bunch of other role playing games out there too, but you spend all this time, you create a character sheet, you create your like fantasy character, and you have all these different races and types you can choose, like archer or warrior or whatever. And then you have a DM, which is a dungeon master, who then guides you through a story, and you roll some dice, and depending on the stats on your sheet, you either do good at that roll of the dice or bad. And then, haven't you seen Stranger Things?
No.
What? Oh my God.
There are many things
Regine
Regine hasn't seen many shows, but well, no, you've seen many shows. You haven't seen a lot of there are a lot of like classic shows that you think that you'd be like, oh, everybody's seen those, but Regine probably.
If you think everyone has seen it, I have not seen it.
Well, I don't blame you. That is kind of how my movie podcast started, where there was a lot of movies I hadn't seen, and my friends were like, well, we need to watch these movies. And I was like, cool, can we make content while doing that?
There you go.
That's actually a good way to like, especially if you're very busy, and it's like, okay, well, I don't have time to like okay, wait. If we
I don't have time to hang out with you. Yeah.
But if we turn it into that, it's kind of a work play thing. It kind of works. It works that way. Yeah.
Yeah. That was very much when I was going like really strong with Laugh Stash TV, my first YouTube channel. It was like, yeah, we can hang out if we're making content. Can we make content for my YouTube channel?
That's awesome.
That works. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's Regina, let's quickly do the ads because we're about 40 minutes in, and then we're gonna come back, and I do want to talk about your both of your YouTube channels, because I wanna hear more about those. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode of The Sit Down was brought to you by the following fantastic advertisers. Hey, Regine.
Yes, Scott.
Do you want to find out what your home is really worth?
Maybe.
Are you buying, selling, investing, or renting a home?
Perhaps.
Well, then, Jennifer C.
one of them.
Maybe.
Jennifer C., realtor at Home Life Culture Link, is here to help. Call or text Jennifer today at 647-403-8887. Don't deal with just anyone. Speak to a professional. Jennifer C. at Home Life Culture Link. To see her current listings, visit homelifeculturelink.com. The Mortgage Godfather is here to give you advice with any mortgage needs you may have, and he will shop to find you the best mortgage. Nino Simeka, mortgage agent. He'll give you an offer you can't refuse. Find out more at mortgagegodfather.ca or call 905-604-6955. Jewelry forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East Markham, they do custom-made jewelry, repairs, and change watch batteries, all done on site. And we have an amazing deal worked out with them, don't we, Regine?
We do. If you go into the store and let them know that Scott and Regine sent you, you'll get 15% off your entire purchase.
That's right, 15% off, 15%. Jerry over at Jewelry Forever is an absolute artist. If you have a vision for a piece of jewelry, something custom, something you'd like made, he is the man to create it for you. And if you mention the show, you'll get 15% off. And they also have a beautiful selection of already made goods. I'm sure you'll find something special for the special person on your list. So find out more at jewelryforever.ca.
Christmas is just around the corner, crazy enough to say out loud. So make sure you get ahead of the rest of the people and get your custom orders in ASAP.
There you go, people. Jewelry Forever.
Can he custom make me a PS5? Is that on the
You know what? We will find out. But you know what? He can do anything. He can do anything. I bet he can. I bet he can. Although, don't quote me. But it'll be.
But it will be backwards compatible.
Obviously. I mean, of course.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? Obviously. Everybody, if you would like to advertise on the show, it's very easy, right, Regine?
It's simple. All you guys have to do is email us at radioshowad. That's radioshowad@gmail.com.
That's right, people. We do this show live every week, and we do the ads live every week. What does that mean? It means that you can personalize those ads every week. Do you have a sale, an event, something happening at a particular time and place? You let us know. We let your potential client base know in real time. It's an amazing way to build a brand new relationship with a potential new client base. Get in touch. Radio Show AD, radioshowad@gmail.com. And we're back. Hello, everybody. Jellyfish, when anyone says Christmas is around the corner, what about Halloween? You're right. Halloween is around the corner. You can get some beautiful Halloween-related custom jewelry as well. But everybody, we're back. We're here. We're chatting with filmmaker, YouTuber, Ash Blodgett. I don't know why I am I saying it? Blodgett. It's Blodgett.
Jet. Yeah, like a jet, like a really boring jet.
Blodgett.
It's not special.
It's a blah. No kidding.
Yeah,
it's a blah.
Exactly.
Jet. Well, it's still very special. Because
it's your last name.
I'm trying to. Yeah. Anyways, I did want to ask you about because you're a YouTuber, you're a filmmaker, you're also a YouTuber. Tell us a bit about there are two channels that you are the architect of. So tell us about them.
I like that, architect. That's a good way to say it. Yeah, my first one is Laughstash TV, which I think I started in 2013. I can't remember anymore. But anyway, that channel started as I love comedy and I love nerdy things. So that channel was sort of this combination of hodgepodge of all sorts of stuff. I used to have a cooking show on there called The Hunger Games.
Nice.
I had a drinking show called Let's Drink, where I forced my friends to drink disgusting beverages. And I used to do sketch comedy that I wasn't in, but I would direct. I would write and direct sketch comedy. And then what else? I don't know. There's like a hodgepodge of stuff. I tried vlogging for a while. People were not into that. But there's all sorts of things on there. There's Comic-Con interviews and just a ridiculous amount of stuff. And then the latest channel that I started last year is called Film It Yourself, which is a tutorial channel where I teach you how to DIY your own films. So how to make films low budget and by yourself and, all the stuff in between. And I also do product reviews for filmmaking equipment that's I try to keep it in the price range that like an indie filmmaker would have. So you'll probably never see me. I don't want to say never, but you probably won't see me giving a review of a Red just because I try to keep it, budget conscious. Like this is something that you can afford if you're just, an indie filmmaker. But I mean, that being said, if Red would like to give me a Red to have me do a product review, I would sell out in a second.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
I really enjoy. I'm slowly making my way through the Film It Yourself channel because I'm finding it very. It's a good resource
Yeah.
for I feel like I'm your target audience in a way.
I was
So,
saying,
Yeah.
like, I was listening to her say that. I'm like, I wonder if Scott's watched any of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I try to keep them fun and entertaining too. So my dog's in them, my dog Spence, which, arguably is the more popular one of the two of us on the channel. People love him more than me, I think. And I try to do funny sketches and like funny things to keep it interesting, and because I think educational but also entertaining is
I think
the goal.
that's the key, right? I mean, I think that's what makes the difference between this is just school, and this is fun. But yeah, it's I'm liking it a lot. Oh, one thing I did want to ask you about, just because I was looking through again Last Dash TV, and like there's a video. I'm not sure if there's more than one, but there's one video on there. The Plants vs Zombie one has 19 million views on it.
Yep. Yeah. So there's that one. So I have a viral video, and the funny part is it's probably one of the cheapest DIY videos I've ever made. I feel like the budget for that film was like $200. And I just had this funny idea for like, the game Plants vs Zombies is like really ridiculous when you think about it, because you're like, a zombie wouldn't eat a vegetable. What is happening? Who thought of this? And so I just thought it'd be fun to like poke fun of that. And little did I know at the time that there is a huge Plants vs Zombies fan base online, and people just love that video so much. And it literally was just me and Daleks. Daleks is the actor in it, who will always be my zombie, who years and years later got to be on not The Walking Dead, but Fear the Walking Dead as a zombie, which we were like, just full circle, you're training for this. Yeah. And Daleks did all of his own makeup, so that's all him. And we just shot it in my friend's front yard, who let me dig a hole in her front yard so I could put the little sunflower thing in there, because it was like a toy that you could buy, but it came in a pot, and so I put it underground so you couldn't see the pot. And yeah, it just sort of, it's funny because it sat on the channel for several months and didn't, got like the normal, when I would release a video, got like, maybe around 1,000 views initially, but then over like 3 months later, all of a sudden it just like skyrocketed, and it just has not stopped since. And it's crazy. It's nuts. And it was so successful that I actually got to do a talk at VidCon about viral videos. And
wow.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Well, I mean, what does it feel like to know that you made something that 19 million people have seen? Like,
it's crazy. Like Daleks and I talk about that all the time, where like whenever it hits, like when it hit 1 million, I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, what a crazy ride. Cool. That was fun. And then it just kept going. And I remember it hit like 16 million, and I was like, 16 million people have seen your face, Daleks. But the funny part is because I'm not in the video and Daleks is wearing makeup, neither one of us have ever, no one has ever been like, you're from that video, like nobody knows who we are. Nobody really, the funny thing is like people see that I have this video and they think like, oh my God, you must be famous. And I'm like, no, nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows who Daleks is. And honestly, nobody cares. Like nobody, the funny thing is I have this video that's like viral and nobody really cares. But as soon as I made short films that started winning film festivals, then people started caring about. So it's an interesting perception. There's like still this weird like, oh, you're a YouTuber, like it's sort of discounted, versus oh, you're a filmmaker and you won film festival awards. That's amazing. Even though if you look at Zombie Debt, my film that like won several awards, I think it only has like 2,000 or 3,000 views. I don't know, in comparison. So it's a really weird phenomenon. And also like the other weird thing about it is, I get all these people who watch the Plants vs. Zombie video, but they don't actually watch any other content on the channel. and they don't really care about any other content on the channel. They just, if you look at the comments, they're all like, do another Plants vs. Zombies video. And I'm like, that's the joke, guys. I don't have another joke about this game. So yeah, it's a weird phenomenon.
Yeah. That disconnect between, oh yeah, you're just a YouTuber and then there's film. I feel like that gets smaller every day. Because I mean, one thing that's interesting is I didn't know this before, but I found it recently because I'm starting to think about what I want to get a new camera, like an actual. I'm thinking about right now. I'm looking at the Blackmagic Pocket. That one I like.
I want that one too.
Yeah,
the 6K.
So that's the thing. I've been watching a lot of videos that are like comparing the two, you know, and I'm like, the 4K I feel like would be a huge jump up and would probably be everything I need it to be, but then the 6K, well, it's 6K.
Yeah,
so like that's more, I don't know, more future proof. I don't know, but it's also a larger jump in price. So I'm kind of I'm in there right now. But anyway, one thing I discovered at that time was like the director of Shazam and what else? What was his first movie? He was just like he was a YouTuber making like short films on his channel, and he produced that. There was one horror short that somebody liked or a bunch of people liked, and he got approached to turn it into a feature. And it's like he was just like you know, and he still makes YouTube videos even now, like you know. But it's just interesting watching how. You know, you'd think that once upon a time, oh no, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just like a YouTube guy, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I think we're seeing more and more of that. And then also what's also happening is like, you're seeing these YouTube or TikTok stars who are getting approached to like, or who are either starring in their own films or they're even making their own films because suddenly they're, you know, if you've got somebody who's got a following of millions and millions of people, you know, it makes sense to throw them on there.
I mean, there's Bo Burnham is like the like really big example where he made the leap. The Drunk Kitchen chick, she has like a cooking show now, I think. Though I don't know if COVID killed that because I think it was a travel show.
Yeah.
But yeah, more and more. But it is surprising something about YouTube still is viewed as cheapened, I think, in people's eyes of the actual industry. But if you have a big following, I think that's where the tables turn a little bit.
Yeah.
But even then, like the Rocket Jump guys, you know, they had a TV show, but I've heard Freddie Wong talk about how he tries to get feature films made and they just say, no. You know, like they're still even telling Freddie Wong no. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's I think, like you said, like more and more people are realizing that these people are talented, and it's just a weird disconnect. I think that because if you think about how YouTube started as cat videos, you know, I think there's still the stigma, unfortunately.
Did you think? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Richie.
I was gonna say. So now with TikTok being a huge platform, do you find that content creators on TikTok are getting a better view, I guess, than those on YouTube only?
Yeah, I think I have dabbled very little in TikTok. I think true to everything with the internet. When this new thing pops up, usually that's where the best comedy is. And so like I think some of the funniest people are on TikTok right now, and I will get lost for hours just watching funny TikToks. But I've only posted like if you get on the trending hashtag, your visibility on TikTok I think is way bigger than on YouTube, because the YouTube algorithm is so competitive and people have been so established for so long that it is hard. And so I think the best one of my videos have done is I think it got like 1,300 views or something on TikTok.
Wow.
It was like when the hot girl summer thing was trending, and I just happened to be in a sriracha costume like you are. And so I was twerking in a sriracha costume to the Hot Girl Summer
Why not?
song. And, it just instantly got a bunch of views. And so I think it's easy for sure on there to get views if you're on trend. And that's the thing is like, I don't have the time or energy to keep up with all the TikTok trends.
They're always changing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's hard. YouTube is also like, I think TikTok is great for comedy, and YouTube has really shifted away from comedy, unfortunately. And YouTube now is all about learning. So if you're teaching somebody something, or vlogging, and that's really it. And that's why, like, back in the day, like Felicia Day was pioneering web series, and there was this like period where there was just tons of great web series content and narrative content and comedy content, and YouTube's really shifted away from that, unfortunately, because it's the thing that I always tell people is like, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And so you can be successful on YouTube if it's something people are searching for. But if nobody has ever heard of your web series, they're not searching for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really hard for artists that are making unique things to be found on YouTube, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's very much like same with music, right? Like I'd throw an original song up there and like, nobody will hear it, right?
Yeah.
But then if I do a cover of a popular song, that one will definitely do, whether it blows up or not. I will find it will always do better than just like an original. But yeah, it's like what you said, because you kind of have to drive towards what people are naturally searching for.
Yeah, I used to do work for a music label that had a YouTube channel, and my client was always like, well, how can we use tags to get people to find this video? And I'm like, I don't know, man. People aren't searching for your song because they don't know about your song, unfortunately. And it's really hard. It's challenging to cut through all the noise.
Yep. Yes, it is. I've like you, I've started to dabble on TikTok. At this point, it's mainly just been taking little bits of some of my YouTube videos and putting them on there. I haven't really done a lot of just specifically TikTok stuff. One thing that I don't like about it as much is I like that YouTube feels more like when you create a video, it kind of becomes this permanent thing, right? Like if I put a vlog or a song or even a whatever, it doesn't matter. You put a video online and it has got an ending and a beginning, and it exists. It feels to me like it's there forever. And I know that TikTok is as well, but it's really hard on TikTok to like find a specific video. Like I guess you have to save it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not in the same way that like I can just. It doesn't
it's
feel like
disposable, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
The idea is that you see it and then
It's gone.
the next thing is gone. And like, yeah, I know you can save videos and blah, but it's not. It doesn't feel the same way.
Yeah.
And so for me, YouTube feels like it's the real thing. And like I know that TikTok is like the more popular one right now, but
For now.
yeah. The other thing I also just like the other thing I
true.
can't get over it is just I don't like the portrait.
Oh,
Screen
I know. As
orientation.
a filmmaker, it's just really hard. I die a little inside every
Yeah.
time I see a portrait video.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've tried doing the same thing you were saying, where I've taken my YouTube videos and tried to take in clips and put them on there. But people on TikTok are not very receptive to that, because again, it's like they just want the content that's made for TikTok, and they want the content that's like on trend for TikTok. And yeah, I haven't had much. I haven't put a lot of effort into it because I don't need another thing.
You don't need another platform.
Yeah, but I definitely like, because I sort of moved away from back in like 2018, I moved away from sketch comedy because my whole original plan was, okay, I'm gonna do the rocket jump thing. I'm gonna do a bunch of sketch comedy, really good sketch comedy on YouTube, and people will notice, and then they'll hire me to direct their films. And that just wasn't the case. It wasn't happening. And so in like 2018, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop doing sketch comedy and stop doing super YouTubey content, and I'm gonna try to do films, short films. And that worked. I mean, it worked. Like I'm now a professional director, which is really awesome. And but I miss doing sketch comedy because I just love sketch comedy so much. And so I have thought about like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to just shoot stupid shit? Because as a filmmaker, it's so hard. Like these YouTubers, like they don't know anything about lighting, and they're just like, let me just take my phone and shoot this thing, and it's disposable. Versus me, I'm like, well, I have to light it and it has to look good. I have to shoot it on my camera. I have to get all my equipment out and everything. And so recently I've been like, what if I just didn't care? What if I just stopped caring about that and just shot silly sketches on my phone and didn't worry about the lighting and everything, just to get back to that sketch comedy roots, because I miss it. But yeah, it's hard as a filmmaker to let go of that and not have it be perfect. And in fact, I had a friend who, he's not a filmmaker at all, and I showed him TikTok, and like his TikTok just started blowing up, and I was like, really? I was like, God damn it.
Because TikTok is very much like what you're describing, like, oh, just shoot it, don't care about the lighting. Like there are so many videos on TikTok that are just, it's like them on their phone filming like a TV screen, right? And like that's the video. Like they want to show a clip from a movie, so they just film the screen, and I'm like, but again, it's like TikTok, what they care about is the content, and it's more like, you know, the editing or the personality, what you're seeing. But generally speaking, the quality of it
is garbage.
They don't care at all.
Yeah,
like, at
it's
all.
garbage.
Like you could film a video of filming a video, filming a video, filming a video, but if it's kind of funny, then you're there. So
yeah,
but,
exactly. Entertaining. At the end of the day, what the internet has shown us, especially during the pandemic, is that if you're entertaining, it does not matter what the quality of your footage looks like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, to an extent, I agree with that, in that, like, one thing I've noticed in like doing my research about, you know, which camera to get and which lenses to use and things, is there are a lot of videos, like, for example, like a lot of videos right now. I've been watching a bunch of lens review videos, right? And
the thing that they all Potato Jet.
Actually, I haven't even been paying attention to like the names of people, but a lot. Like basically, what I'll do, like, the thing is now, you know, the algorithm is, it's like you search one video, like review of a lens, and now like it's like you want to watch, here's every video about lenses that's ever been made, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But one thing I've been noticing is like they've been talking a lot about the bokeh of the lens, right? And so I saw Regine just made a face. The bokeh is like, it's like, so when you're filming something with a lens that you can focus on things, if I make me in focus, the background is going to be blurry, right?
Okay.
And the bokeh is like,
how much blur?
Yeah, how much blur it is, and kind of like how it looks. And there's like an aesthetic quality that people look for. So like, if you shoot with like an anamorphic lens, the bokeh is more like an oval, and then otherwise it's square or round circles. Like when if you shoot at a light source, it's like makes this big round thing. And then also like a lot of these people, like and I guess filmmakers care about like how perfectly circular they are, or that some of them make a weird, right? And I've been watching these things.
Let's be more specific. Directors of photography.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So like I'm watching these videos, and these guys are like, okay, here's a review of this lens, and then the person will be like, yeah, but so I'm noticing, you know, but look here, and they'll show an example, be like, you can see how it's not quite round, and towards the edges of the screen, it kind of makes a strange, it's not quite a circle, right? And I've been watching that, I'm like, I don't care about that at all. Like who? And I'm thinking, I've watched movies. Okay, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker, working towards it. I've watched movies my entire life, okay? And at no point have I ever even thought about the
About the
shape
bokeh.
of the boat, right? Not
I
even,
didn't even know what that was.
yes, and it's just never even been something that I've ever thought of. And so I think in filmmaking there is, like, you have to remember what the audience is looking for. And so even this thing we're just talking about, how TikTok has, they don't care at all about lighting, they don't care about any of that. That's like almost taken to an extreme that maybe even is too far for me, because I think it's almost too far. But I still think in terms of creating stuff, it's still important to remember that the content is what matters most.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So,
Totally. Yeah, you can make, I mean, your film, for example, is a perfect example of, you can make a film with two people in one room and one
camera.
angle. Yeah. And it's like, that's really, if you want to make films, start there, try to be like, how creative can I be in this one very limited scenario? Because I think limitations, as maybe we've seen with filmmakers like George Lucas, limitations can be good things.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
In fact, I think I've almost come full circle in that if you don't have limitations, I almost think it makes sense to put some, like, impose some on yourself. Because I think when you can just do anything, I actually think, like, some of the weirdest movies I've seen, or I shouldn't say weirdest, movies that I don't like are, especially now, like, because everything's computer animated now, right? Where I'll watch movies where, like, the camera's like going, like, it's almost like the camera's flying all over the place because it can, and you almost feel like there's this element of, well, now we can do anything, so let's just do everything, and it becomes but it almost loses some of its
Power.
something goes away if you're
I mean, there's that great Jurassic Park quote, right, of, just because you can doesn't mean you shouldn't do the
Jeff
thing.
Goldblum,
and I think it's so funny because pretty much all of my films involve some sort of CGI or special effect. But I love the films that go back to the roots of, like, no, let's do it practical. Like, anytime it's done practical, it feels real to me. And I can just always spot the CG. And it bothers me. And it doesn't, I don't feel like we're there yet with it looking 100% real. I have seen some films where I'm like, oh yeah, that looked really good. But it just, it takes me out of, I think, my suspension of disbelief when it's like, well, I can tell that that's not real, but there is good CG out there. But
I think the best, the films that do it the best seem to be the ones that they do as much as they can to get it in camera first, and then they use the CG to, like, finesse it, or if they know there's going to be a CG element in it, then they sort of plan for it. I think where you run into trouble is if you kind of just point the camera at a blank, place and be like, okay, we're going to add, like, a monster there later. I think that's usually when it doesn't work. In fact, I don't know if you've been, are you a fan of The Mandalorian at all? Or
I was going to say The Mandalorian does it so well.
Well, have you watched on Disney Plus Star Wars Gallery? Have you seen all that?
The screen.
So I just watched that last night, and, like, the volume, the big thing, like, I feel like that's the new standard. Like, that's the way to do it.
One of my friends that won at Gen Con, his Star Wars fan film, they shot on that same soundstage and used the same technology as The Mandalorian. Yeah, I know. He even invited me to the shoot, and I was like, I can't, I'm busy. And now I'm like, damn it, I should have gone.
Yeah. So, Regine, what the volume is like? It's the studio that they shot at, where, so basically it's a giant room, like warehouse, like, I don't know, I think they said it was 100 feet long or something. It was a gigantic room. And what they've done is they've installed LED screens in a huge circle all the way around and on the ceiling. So if they want to film a location where they're in the desert, right? They can just project the image of the desert around them, and then they just put some sand on the ground, right?
Mhm.
And
So
like
rather than a green screen.
yeah. And so because of
and-
that,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, and then they've got it set up so it's synced up with the camera, so that when the camera moves around, the perspective on the screens adjusts, so it moves like it's a completely real environment. So you can suddenly shoot anywhere, and because you don't have to use a green screen, the lighting, one of the problems with dealing with green screen is like you have to remove the green, and then sometimes you get green shining off of you. Got to remove that, and it's you can actually make it look very, very amazing. But
Well, and lighting to fit, whatever you're shooting the green screen for is incredibly tricky, and then, I mean, I'm not saying that it hasn't been possible, but like doing that and also doing a camera move has historically been incredibly difficult.
Yep.
Because you got to move the lighting too, and then the image on the green screen has to move to match. And so what Scott was about to say was
Oh yeah, so what they're using like gaming engines, like the same engines that you would use when you're playing like a 3D video game. They have that synced up with the big screen and the camera. So like when you're walking around in this location, the camera moves and it literally looks completely real. And also, yes, like you were saying about the lighting, because the screen is the color of the location that you're in, it's like the lighting that hits you is
it
looks completely real.
The
Right.
screens
It's on
are
green
the
lighting.
lights.
Yeah.
They don't have to bring in any more light. Like they're lighting with the ambience of the screen, which to me as a filmmaker is just so crazy. And I've done green screen shoots like professionally, and like that's just so mind-blowing and cool, and
Well,
it's just
One
awesome.
day.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I just couldn't believe because I watched all of it yesterday, like the
It's on
entire
Disney
series.
Plus?
It's on Disney Plus, yeah. It's like 8 episodes is first season, and then then there's 2 longer episodes for season 2. But what I couldn't believe is how many scenes were filmed. Like especially season 1, I don't like 90% of the show was filmed in that warehouse. Even scenes that I assumed when I was watching it, they just went. This scene's like in a forest. Like it looked like they're at a village that they just built some huts in a forest. But no, they built the entire thing is inside this one location.
Wow.
It's all projector screens, and it looks completely real. It was. I mean, it just made me very. I was like,
Mind
they gotta build one
blown.
of these here. Toronto needs to build one of these right now. There's a studio, like that's because the thing is, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I have a friend who he worked on the props, and I was like texting him one day. I was like, "Hey, what are you up to?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing." He just sends me a picture of like Jango Fett's like outfit in the back of his car and like helmet and all. And I was like, "Oh my god, so cool!" Yeah,
Amazing.
it's amazing. The technology, like that. If you're really into that, also check out the Imagineering series on Disney Plus, because both of those series made me realize how much Disney is the one that pushes the envelope when it comes to technology and filmmaking and entertainment. And they are constantly the ones that are inventing new technology to make movies, it's just amazing.
Is Imagineer one, is that one focusing on Marvel stuff? Is that what that is?
No,
Or
the
what-
Imagineering is all about Imagineering is anytime you see like in the parks like a robot, in the rides or whatever, or just engineering a ride at Disneyland or an area of the theme park is called Imagineering. And so the series goes into a history of it, and it takes you a history from Walt Disney first saying, "I want to make a theme park," to all the way, them releasing Tron, which is like one of their most recent rides. And just like all the challenges and advances in technology that they've made in order to make theme park rides that they then apply to films and whatnot. And it's just incredible. Like I even have a couple of friends that are like Imagineers, and like I didn't quite realize like how cool it was what they were doing. I have a friend who like worked on the Avatar land and everything, and
Wow.
it's just like I have a whole new appreciation for how they are constantly pushing technology.
Mhm.
It's really interesting.
Because I'm even thinking just the robot, the animatronics, right? Like
Mhm.
when you go into some of these, I haven't. I think I've been there when I was a baby. Like I've seen pictures of me there, but I have no memory of being there.
Oh man, you gotta go. Come
I
out
was
to
gonna say,
California,
wow.
Scott. Now's maybe not a good time, but
I
Yeah.
think the last time I went to Disney was 10 years ago, but I do want to go back.
It's so different. If you haven't been there for 10 years, oh my gosh, it's definitely
I went to
changed.
Disney World.
Oh,
I haven't
Disney
been to Disneyland since I was 12, so
Mm.
even longer.
Wow. Yeah, I've never been to Disney World. I really want to go. Ironically, I was almost going to go at the beginning of 2020. Kind of glad I didn't do that. But yeah, it's I've only been to Disneyland down here, but it's incredible. It's awesome. I love theme parks. I kind of grew up around one, so I have
Well, when
this,
you
like,
live in
love.
California, it's easier.
Yeah. My mom worked for you guys have probably never heard of it, but if you live in Northern California, you've probably heard of Marine World Africa USA, which was like a zoo crossed with like a theme park kind of. Is what's the
Cool.
one in San Diego that's like really famous?
SeaWorld?
SeaWorld. Yeah, it's kind of like SeaWorld, but they had animals from all across Africa as well.
So, Scott, it would be like Marineland meets African Lion Safari.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, that's two
mhm.
that we have here not far from Toronto.
Yeah.
But,
But they had like rides, like they had this dinosaur ride that you would like go in. It was like one of those ones where it's like a big, huge screen and you sit in this little thing that moves around.
oh, and the chair. Yeah,
I
Yeah.
hate those. Ugh.
You hate
Yeah, we-
I love
I get motion sick. I can't do it anymore.
Oh.
I used to love roller coasters, and
Oh
then
no.
Well, this
I
one,
get older.
this one, you're not actually moving. Although it would still probably trigger the motion.
Yeah, because it's still like moving you around like this, you know?
Yeah,
I'll take a
remember
grab all. I'll be fine.
yeah. There's in fact, I think we still have it here. There's a place called Canada's Wonderland here. It's a theme park that's not far from Toronto, or I guess it is in Toronto, North Toronto or whatever. Is it technically Toronto, Regina, or is it outside of Toronto?
Which one? Marineland?
No,
sorry.
Wonderland.
Wonderland's in Vaughan.
Vaughan. Okay, so it's the city just north of Toronto. Anyway, but it used to be, there was a time when it was bought by Paramount Pictures.
Oh, that was fun.
And so at the time, so it was called Paramount Canada's Wonderland. And so all of the movies were movie themed.
All the
And-
rides are movie themed.
Yeah. Yeah, what did I say?
All the movies are
sorry, all the
movie
rides. Yeah.
Usually movies are movie themed,
Correct. Yes.
you know?
Yes, and that's how it was here too. Yeah, but one of the rides that they brought in, I remember, was it was the first time we had ever seen one of those ones where the ride is the chairs moving, and it was the Days of
yeah.
Thunder ride, and so it was like from the movie Days of Thunder, so you were like riding in a NASCAR. Yeah,
That's
And-
cool.
yeah, and then
Now it's
somewhere
just
along the
generic.
line, yeah, but then somewhere along the line, Paramount no longer owned it, and so then they
Oh.
had to rename all the rides. So like.
Oh,
But we
no.
still call them by the
Yeah, so that's why, like, so
original
there's
name.
one of the best roller coasters there was called Top Gun when it came out, because it was the Top
Oh,
Gun roller coaster.
Yeah.
And now they've renamed it to, I don't even know what it's called now.
Isn't it still called Top Gun?
Bottom Gun is a
Yeah,
thing.
Bottom
Or
Gun. No,
like
they had
Top-
they had to take away all
I
of the
forgot
movie
what they're
names.
called.
Because remember, there was even a Tomb Raider ride. There was a Tomb
Yes.
Raider ride, and that's just
wow.
called something else now. Because anyway, I still call it Top Gun.
Tomb
'cause I don't know.
Borrower.
Yeah.
Let me rename them.
Yeah, what if they just rename them all by like the same way you get like off-brand?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
The
Close.
generic brand.
Just change one
Yeah.
letter. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. But
I'm Lisa Croft, and welcome to Tomb Borrower.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. This one, like, Wonderland, like all the rides were kind of the theme of it, but we didn't really have any like where the way it is at those Disney ones where you have like the robots and like the dinosaur,
yeah.
like
Mhm.
you know, Universal Studios. that kind of
Nobody
thing
does
like
it like Disney. It's
No.
flawless. It's just flawless. Yeah.
So I can't believe you haven't been. Like, there's a whole Star Wars section.
Yeah.
I know.
It's pretty
I-
great.
I-
I
Like,
have
how
not
have you
been on the
not?
new ride, but I went on the Millennium Falcon one, and that one was really cool. Because we
Is it-
went, my boyfriend and I, we got vaccinated, and we're like, we're going to Disneyland. So we like instantly went to Disneyland. and the to get on certain rides now, like high priority rides, you have to use like this app and get in the queue and like hope that they select you, and
Wow.
it's really hard to get on them now.
I want to go. I want to go to Disney. I was supposed to do
Anytime
my
you wanna come-
bachelorette at Disneyland, but then
Oh,
the pandemic
no.
hit, so we're like Disney themed
No.
instead.
I planned a friend's bachelorette at Disneyland once. It was
I
really
wanted to
fun.
go. 'Cause, like I have cousins in California, so they're like, "Yeah, come here," and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay." Just
Aw.
kidding.
Well, you can do it again in the future.
Yeah. It kind of feels like, I mean, I've been saying this for months, but I'm like, it feels like we're kind of on the back end of this, but then it keeps getting pushed
Every time
back
you
further
say
and
that,
further.
something happens. So stop.
Yeah,
Just don't say
don't.
it. Take
I
it
don't
back.
plan on anything anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know anything
I
anymore.
know. I don't know.
Sorry, my lights keep changing. I have those hue lights,
No worries.
Oh,
and
that's okay.
they just don't want to behave right now.
that's
It's
all right.
fun.
The light show, my own Disney light
There you
show.
go.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
we don't even need to go.
Instead
there.
of the castle, it's your wall.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
on that note,
on you know what I find this show, like we've commented on it before, but like inevitably the show, we always find ourselves, once we start talking, it always ends up back at the pandemic, because I
Mhm.
think it's like every it's engulfed so much of
Yeah.
everybody's lives that
I feel like
inevitably
even
we're just
afterwards we're going to be talking about it. So like, so what did you do during the pandemic?
yeah.
Oh yeah, right. It's like if we ever get past it, and I guess I'm a pessimist because I kind of think it's maybe always gonna change. Like I don't think anything's ever gonna go back to the way it was 100%.
Mhm.
Which I guess that's terrible. I didn't used to be a pessimist until this happened, but like I just imagining trying to explain to like future children, yeah, there was this time where for 2 years we were inside all the time, not
Yeah.
interacting, or like I'm even like a social extroverted person, and I've even found I'm like, now I feel awkward around other human beings when I'm like outside of my house, and I'm like, this is weird. I don't know how to like interact with humans anymore.
I am a huge extrovert. So going into this pandemic, I struggled so hard. Now
So hard.
slowly getting out of the pandemic, like we're still somewhat more in lockdown than it is in the States. So I was actually on the bus yesterday for the first time on a Saturday night, and I'm like, ooh, how do I feel about these people? I don't know. And like some guy was like, "Oh, I like your mask." I'm like, "Stay away from me, sir." Like, no, not today.
6 feet. You've got like the stick.
Yeah.
The 6-foot stick.
But there
My
are some
boyfriend-
interesting people in this city. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm extroverted and my boyfriend's introverted. So he's living his best life and I'm dying inside every day.
I can't do it.
Yeah, it's hard for sure.
I think
You're in
I've
the
noticed
middle.
in Ontario anyway, the numbers have come back. They're not super low, but we're
We're
around
under
6,
1,000.
7, yeah, under 1,000 now, pretty
Oh.
consistently, around 600 to 700 cases, and
Nice.
some, which is nice. The highest we ever got was 4,000, and then it went down, and then it
I
started
don't
to
even
go
pay
up again.
attention anymore.
Yeah, I just I
Excuse me.
get a thing on my phone, but I actually, a thing that definitely happened is I've been watching the news way less. Whereas like,
Oh,
earlier in
yeah.
the pandemic, I was like, what's happening? And then I remember Trudeau, like our prime minister, was giving like daily updates and everything,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, I gotta, and then I'm like, this is not helping me.
No.
I'm just gonna.
No.
Mentally, I had to
Yeah.
stop watching it.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, it was a lot. I kind of took a break. It was like for us as Americans, like once like Trump was out of office, I was like, okay, I gotta take a break from all
Yeah.
this. Like at least I know that's over with. And now I'm gonna check out for a while, guys. Like I'm sorry. And I just never have gone back. And I feel so like, out of it and not, I don't know what's going on anymore, which I know is terrible, but you gotta take like a mental break from it. It's exhausting, especially like with the 24-hour news cycle. It's like every day there's a new thing to be upset about, and I just can't all the time.
I've been really thinking like I actually don't know if it is even good for us to. You don't need
Yeah.
to know everything that's happening all the time. Like you
Mhm.
just, I don't know. Like you think, I don't know. Like the news, say the news reports that like a person got like, I don't know,
Oh my
attacked.
God, I had the news on this morning and literally one after another, after another, after another. It was like this person stabbed this person. There was 3 stabbing in
Yes.
in the
Wow.
city of Toronto yesterday, and it was one after another. And then it was like
Yeah.
this person missing, this person. I'm like, oh my God, what is
And it's like,
Yeah.
happening?
what benefit is there to like knowing
I
that?
don't
Like
need
as a,
to know that there's a 61-year-old lady that got killed.
yeah.
I don't know her.
I mean, that's
That's so cold hearted.
yeah.
But I mean,
That too. But yeah, but
That bitch can die and I don't care.
I mean, I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
But you know,
but it's just like exactly because like, I mean I know abstractly that the world has horrible things in it. I know that there's always horrible things happening, right? But
oh,
like
I see a
knowing this,
dog.
but like turning on every day and just getting the update of like specifically what happened, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. It's
what does it actually do? Like what about my day will it impact? And in terms of what I'm
Mhm.
actually doing or what I need to do to live in the world or get, like there's nothing. There's no benefit. There's none.
and it's hard to know too, like what's fact and what's not
Mhm.
Well, that too, yeah.
anymore. And
Yeah.
like my boyfriend and I will talk like, well, I just heard this stat about COVID, and well, I just heard this about COVID.
Mhm.
Oh, really? What was your source? Washington Post. What was your source? New York Times. Well, fuck, I don't know anymore. You know, gosh, I
They
hope
both
swearing's
sound
okay. I've
very
already
like they both
dropped all
sound
of the
very
swear bombs.
reliable.
Yeah, right. Like I'm just like, I'm like, well, I don't know what to believe anymore. You know, it's like this study says that, or the whole. I was like 100% geared up to go to Gen Con, and then I heard this news story about Boston where they had a 4th of July event and a bunch of people got the Delta variant, and
Oh.
like 70% of them were people who were vaccinated. And I was like,
Ooh.
okay, well then am I safe with, you know, like has it mutated to where
Yeah.
that I'm not? And you're just like, I don't know. I don't know anymore what to believe. And
It's a crazy world.
yeah.
Yeah.
One thing
Moral
I
of
like-
the story is do your research.
Yeah. Well, try,
check.
but
Right. Yeah.
I think also just like do what you're comfortable with and like try. It's so hard, but like try not to judge other people because everyone has their own comfort level. But yeah, it's just
Yep.
bizarre.
Yeah, in fact, you know, it's interesting because I was so geared up to go to Gen Con and I would have gone. But that's because, you know, I was excited and I would like the idea of being out there again, and it's a film festival, like yeah. But now that I'm looking back, I mean, it's probably better that I didn't go.
Yeah.
Maybe,
exactly.
right? I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything like and again, I would never even considered going if I wasn't fully vaxxed and all that stuff. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I just wish. I think especially when I found out that I got in and that I knew it was coming up and all that stuff. Like, I think I had already in my mind been like, okay, well, we'll be done this by then, you know. And like, I guess everybody wants this to just be in the rearview mirror. I don't know. Is it? I mean, I guess it's not.
Almost.
You know, almost, but it's not quite.
I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
We gotta be hopeful.
Yeah.
I know.
But
yeah.
no, I think you're actually though right, Ash. What you said, how I definitely think there are things that even when the numbers have dropped to like super low number and like maybe gone, I definitely think that there have been some permanent or semi-permanent changes. Like I think there are things that are just going to be different now because I think even just in terms of, I don't know, like I think mask wearing, even if it's not mandated, I think you're still gonna have a lot of people who will, you know, okay, we're going to this thing. I think we're gonna see masks.
I
for
bought
a long
so many
time.
masks. I'm gonna keep wearing them.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I wish that like I was even saying this like early on in the pandemic, like I hope that out of this, and it won't because it became so politicized, but I hope that like mask wearing culturally becomes like accepted,
Mhm.
like it is in a lot of like Asian cultures. You
Mhm.
know, like people just wear masks when they're sick, and that's just what they
Yeah.
do, and that's normal. And I think that that's great, and I think it's okay if we do that, and we shouldn't be like, oh, that's weird, you're a weirdo.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny
that's
that you say that because I sent it to Scott, but I had a memory from Snapchat or whatever, Facebook, where I went to the doctor because I'm prone to bronchitis. So I went to the doctor
Oh.
and I probably had bronchitis at the point. She put a mask on me and I had took a picture. I'm like, well, this is cute. Little did I know that
Mhm.
I started a trend.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was like
So
same thing with
you heard it here first. COVID is Regine's fault.
No, the mask wearing. The mask wearing.
Yeah, no, I said this on the show before so I did the behind the scenes vlog for Storage Room B, and I filmed it before the pandemic, right? But one of the
Oh.
props I was making was I had to make a high heel shoe that you could stab with. Spoiler.
Oh,
anyway.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
But the way I made that was I took the heel off of a shoe, and then I replaced it with like a sanding mask. I cut it because it kind of made a slightly rounded shape. So I was able to kind of make the spike out of that and then stuck it on. But as I'm making it in the vlog, I'm like being like, so I made this prop out of, you guys know these like masks that you can wear? You know, anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like like I'm talking about it like I have to explain to everybody
like no
what
one's
this
seen
is.
it before. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm watching this and I'm like, wow, that's so funny. Because like it would never, if I was making that now, I'd be like, it's just funny the concept that I had that there was this thought in my head that, well, people might not know what this is when I show it. I better tell them what it is. It's like now, like, no, everybody knows. Everybody knows what that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
I mean, Scott and I were talking about this because he helped me figure out my live streaming problems. And we were talking about how, like, I didn't know how to do, like, this before the pandemic. And it's like, oh, yeah, you got to suddenly learn. And just all the different, or like how everyone was like, I'm going to get really into sourdough all of a sudden.
Or banana
Like-
bread.
Yeah, like we're on Little House from the Prairie or something, you know, like just the weird stuff that yeah, it was interesting. My boyfriend and I got very creative with cooking, that's for sure, during that time
Scott
period.
turned into a vegetarian during this pandemic.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mistakes were made. No, I'm just kidding.
And not to mention like all the little TikTok trends and things that I've been trying. Like there's so many weird things that, like, I'm a weirder person now.
Yeah, you are.
For sure.
Well, weird is good. I like
Yeah.
weird.
No,
I think
Well, like-
he
normal
got
is boring.
weird.
Well, like
Okay.
I cut my own hair now. I cut my own hair.
Hey, I did that too. I did that
But like I
too.
haven't got. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to the hairdresser now.
I
Oh,
know, you're like,
no.
all this money I'm paying you and I can do it myself.
And I
No,
kind of
no,
like
no.
it. I
Yeah.
kind of like it. I kind of like it.
It doesn't look bad.
It,
I've
mm,
been
No, it's pretty good. It's like it's growing how it should be.
Jesus.
I've
I mean,
only
I
made
haven't
one
seen you in a
mistake.
while, so
There's only one clear mistake that I made at one point on the side. I was trying to clip the sides and I got a little too overzealous, and there was a part that
Oh.
looked kind of like a bald patch, like right in the side here, like,
Oh,
but it grew back.
no.
It grew back. It grew back. So
There you go.
mistake made. We've moved on.
I've been cutting my boyfriend's hair for years.
Oh,
And I'll tell you the tip is like get a razor with like adjustable settings
mhm.
and
Yeah.
then use that on the sides.
No, he
And
uses
then-
scissors.
Well,
I don't
what
have
I'm
one of
saying
those,
is use
but-
the razor on the sides and then use scissors for the top is what I do.
Yeah. that makes sense because that's
Yeah.
how you get a really consistent like.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of been the thing I've been struggling with the most is the back because obviously I don't see the back. So like anytime I cut
Yeah.
the back, I'm kind of it's whatever I
Oh
can see
my
from the
gosh.
side that I can pull and then snip it off. And I figure as long as I do it the same amount on each side, it should be fine. But I honestly don't know. The back could be a mess, and I don't know.
It's okay. No
So-
one, you don't see the back of your head. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that's the thing. That's the thing because there's so little like outside. So like I'm literally creating myself for what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, oh, this works.
I love
Okay,
the
well, then
idea
this
of
is it.
you getting in an audition, like you auditioning for something, getting the part, and then you show up and they're like, great, great. And then you turn around and they're like, oh
Oh.
my God.
What happened? What's actually one of the only haircuts I've actually gotten was on set, and it was exactly for that reason. I was like, I happened to get cast in something that was filming during the pandemic, and then they were like, "Oh, if you don't mind, I'm going to clean up a little bit." I'm like, "Yes, please." Like, I haven't seen. Yeah.
What a nice way of saying your hair looks like garbage.
Yeah, we know you've been cutting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this looks nice, but I think maybe I'll just if you don't mind. Yeah.
I do have to go because I just.
Oh yeah, we've been look at it. What's funny is
I'm
I looked at the clock.
sorry.
I looked at the clock like a long time ago, and I was like, "Oh, we should probably wrap up." And like now we went for another 25 minutes. Okay, yeah, we should wrap up.
I mean, you guys can keep going. I'll just go.
No, I think we are
Okay.
going to wrap up. But do you have to leave it right the
Sorry.
second? Do you have time to like plug these social medias and stuff?
My social media is down below.
Okay.
There you
Yeah. So
go,
if Regina, you have to jump away. You can go ahead. But Ash,
Okay.
I'm gonna get
Bye,
you
guys.
to. Bye. See ya. Ash, can you just let us know where can people find you on all the places, the social media thingies?
Yeah, on Twitter. Twitter's kind of my main jam. I'm at Ash's Stash, and it's ASHSSTASH. Oh, it's still so early to be spelling for me. I wasn't a thought through handle when I got it, but anyway, that's the handle on. But you can also find me on YouTube. I'm Laughstash TV and Film It Yourself are my two channels. And then I also have a podcast called Let's Rewatch, where we rewatch movies we loved in our youth and see if they still hold up to modern day expectations, which, spoiler alert, a lot of times they don't, but sometimes they do, and it's a real treat.
I love that idea. That's actually awesome.
That's fun.
And all of those links, guys, are in the description. And make sure you do head on over to both of the YouTube channels, subscribe, and watch the content. There's on Film It Yourself. If you're any type of content creator, which I know a lot of you guys are, Film It Yourself is a great resource. And then Laugh Stash is just great if you want to laugh.
If you want to see me drink ridiculous things like beer and milk mixed together, head on over to there.
Oh.
Yeah, mistakes were made.
Although I kind of want to see that, though. So there you
Good
go.
one. That's the Interrobang episode with Justin McElroy. Oh, or not Justin, I'm sorry, Travis McElroy. Whatever. They're one
Cool.
unit.
Nice. All right, links are in the description, everybody. If you want to find me, you can find me right here. You're watching this video, youtube.com/ScottDionBrown. I'm also on Twitch and DLive, but YouTube is the best place. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ScottDionBrown. But YouTube is the best one. All of those other social media things are basically just satellites for my YouTube channel. That's where I have the most fun. That's where I post the most content. We got gaming. We got vlogs. We got all that good stuff. Jellyfish says, isn't it not allowed to get the COVID vaccine if you're under 15? I think it's under 12. I don't think it's 15. I think it's 12. Although maybe it depends where you are in the world. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Not sure. Check your local guidelines there, Jellyfish. Beer and milk. I've drunk a fish eye.
A fish eye.
drank a
Interesting.
fish eye.
I don't know what that is.
Does he mean a literal fish eye, or is that a drink called a fish eye?
Oh, maybe a literal fish eye. You know, like the Cobra Heart thing. I didn't do that. I haven't done that.
Well, sounds interesting, Jellyfish. And Max says, how's the show? The show was great. We have reached the end. And guys, make sure you follow Regina as well. Subscribe to her channel. Her links are in the description. She had to leave, but make sure you find her stuff there. And Ash, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. Even though I had to wake up really early for my
Yes.
where I am. But
Sorry about that.
that's
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you for getting up. Appreciate it. Because wow, me getting up 8 a.m. on a Sunday. Ugh.
Yeah. I got up at
So-
6:30 to be here, guys.
Incredible. Well, thank you. Thank you
You're
again. We
welcome.
really appreciate it. And yeah, guys, make sure you give her a follow. And guys, we will see you all next week for our next episode. I'm not streaming tomorrow, everybody. I'm actually I'm busy and working tomorrow night, so there won't be a stream probably until Thursday. So I might be able to do a stream earlier in the day. I'm not sure, but it just worked out that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week I'm busy 3 nights in a row. So next definite gaming stream is Thursday. Possibly, if I can, some shorter streams during the day, but I can't guarantee that because we will see. But all of you guys, thanks for being here. Jellyfish, Max, a lot of you guys popped in throughout. Ice, everybody who was here, thank you for being here. And we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.